Boom, welcome back to the TNEC cast, episode 38. I'm your boy Shuff with the man Weapon K. And you notice we have a familiar to some, unfamiliar to other face on the cast with us today. Coach's coach, Mr. James T. Mickles, aka Hard Body by J. Timo. But we'll get into a little bit more with him in a second. Just one of y'all is like, hey, who's this? Make sure we say, the housekeeping. Please like, comment, subscribe, all those good things. Okay, how you feeling?
Man, I'm chilling, man. I'm excited. Every time we have guests, I'm excited. So James, I think we jumped the gun earlier in the pre-show, but once again, I saw that the video on Instagram, and you straight up was like, "Yo, those guys beat me." And I just want to applaud you for that, because most people, they be like, "Man, I got robbed," but you handled it as a professional, and it's still nothing to laugh at. Fourth in the world. And plus, you have other athletes winning championships as well. So I want to give you your flowers while you're here. Congratulations, brother. And I wish you a great 2022. And I'm definitely going to stay tuned.
Yeah, right? I appreciate that, boss. And there ain't no need for me to sit up here and just be lying to myself. You know
exactly.
what I mean? I'm a straight shooter all the way around. Like, that's just what it is. Those dudes beat me.
Mm-hmm.
They were better than me. So, I know what I got to do. And I'm going to go hit the lab and take care of business, and I'll be back.
There you
go. Know what I'm saying?
Simple as that. So I guess now I'll do the official introduction. So this is, I call him coach because in our industry, it's like almost like the best thing you can call somebody, because friend, brother, all these different things are all adequate, but I just love calling him coach. And, now he's been a fiction, coined as coach's coach, because everybody refers to me as coach. So I don't worry, Christmas is coming. You got that shirt coming to you. But so the way James and I met back in it was in the fall of 2020, competing together, Legacy, Storm, not knowing we had similar backgrounds and things like that. And it was just one of those things, oddly, probably because of the background, we just gravitated toward each other, started talking more, developing a friendship. And then after my first show of the season, you weren't judging, you were helping the judge though, right? Like you were like the backup judge at that one at Margaritaville.
Nah, I was judging.
You were judging.
Okay,
judging
at Margaritaville.
Okay, you were judging. Yeah. So he reached out to me, afterwards, and I'm not gonna share the whole conversation, but just a lot of real talk with real genuine love and admiration, and most importantly, respect. And I didn't take anything wrong, just came to me, hey, this is what, and we talked about some things. It's like, I want to help you. I'm like, hey, so help me, bounce back, physique showdown, saw a big change in some things that he helped me with. So I was like, man, this is a done deal, because I was really gonna go coachless. But one of the big things was, I said, if I do get a coach, because I was thinking about it, I was like, I need somebody that cares, and he proved to me that he cares, and that's all I needed. Because I already know the pedigree, him as an athlete and as a coach, that I didn't need to worry about. I knew that, but he proved to me that he cares and has done nothing but ever since. He's made me a better coach, a better person. And you guys know me, I don't just be saying that about anybody. So, and that's real stuff. So, I'm gonna let him talk a little bit more about this weekend and everything like that. But I wanted to say here on the cast, it was dope because he hadn't competed in a while. When you think about it, because we're all of us on here are active. So it would have been, because the Storm was your last, so it'd been a little over a year since you had been on stage. Again, I knew how much that show meant to him. You know what I mean? And again, top 5, 4th place in that one of the biggest national shows that's that has athletes from around the world. That's nothing to hang your head about. And then having athletes. Shout out to my other team, because I'm Team Hard Body by Jitmo as well. By J Timo. I used to say your name wrong, by the way, so I got to get that out of my head. But so shout out to Google. She did great, winning figure. You know what I mean? Let me shut up. I'm gonna let you talk about that stuff. Without further ado, my coach's coach, James T. Mickles, talk to us.
I mean, hey, first and foremost, let me, give y'all flowers. I definitely appreciate the opportunity to be able, for y'all inviting me on your platform. You know what I'm saying? I try to catch every episode. You know, I definitely love what y'all, you know, what you're doing. I mean, you know that for sure, Isaac, but I get to tell you that, Kyrie, you feel me? I love what y'all doing. As far as the Atlas, you know what I'm saying? The reason why that show meant so much to me is because this year would mark me 10 years of being out of prison. And if somebody would have told me 10 years ago that I'd have been, you know, competing on a world stage, like that never was like even in high in sight. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, it's like, dang, this has been 10 years. Literally, I've been out of prison for one. And then let alone to be able to put some quality athletes on stage and for them to do well. So it was a lot going on into this. You know, the Atlas was a day after my bro. He passed away in May. It was day after his birthday on top of that. So it was a lot of, you know, I'm a sentimental guy. I'm man enough to say that. I'm a sentimental person. So it was a lot of sentimental value that went into this. And like I said on Instagram and on Facebook, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people was asking me how you feel about the judging. I'm like, I got fourth. I deserve fourth. Those guys are better than me. I didn't compete against no slouches. These dudes been competing since the late 90s. Like this is an old man sport. Folks do not understand. I know, Isaac, you 38, I'm 37. We still youngsters compared to the winner of my class who was 48. David Lovelace 46. Q is like 44, 45. You know what I'm saying? Sean Wolf, he like 50, 51. They are multiple world champions, not only have competed in world championships, but have won world championships. So for this being my first world stage, me placing fourth, hey, I take that. You know what I mean? There's only 3 more people better than me. I take that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got to look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, there's only 3 people better than me. I take that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know, it is what it is. There was never a time that I looked at the lineup because I look at the video. I'm like, you know, Kobe Bryant was my favorite player. So it's not just because of who he was on the court. It was who he was off the court, how he analyzed the game. He looked at film. He hired Hakeem Olajuwon in the offseason, so on and so forth. I'm always trying to perfect my craft. So I study film and I look at film and I look at film and I look at film. I knew who I was competing against. And I thought the approach, you know, that I took, if I play conditioning, you know what I'm saying, I'd probably be able to box with these bigger guys. But, they socked me out. It's all good. You know, I'll be back. But at the end of the day, too, like you was just mentioning, Akugo, that was her first pro win on top of that. So for her first pro win and for that to be a world championship, you know, that was a big deal because Akugo been with me for past 3 years. So, and I've been friends with her since 2015. I seen her when she first did the Dallas Europa and stuff like that. And she was little itty bitty tiny. Then out of nowhere, once she went pro at the first Legacy Classic in 2019. Then that's when she hired me and I've been working with her ever since. And that was a big deal. Same thing with Sunny. Sunny was retired. She retired after 2018. So the Diva this past June, you know, was her comeback show where she placed fourth. And then she came back to place second in the world. Hey, you know, Erica, who won the show, is a tough girl. Like I already knew. I told Sunny leading up, I said, look, we're going to be realistic. I'm not going to blow no smoke. You know, Erica is tough. Okay. So if we standing next to Erica at the end, we can't hang our head at all. And that's what happened. Now, Leo, he, you know, back and forth with David. That was his first time competing with Laz. You know, Laz is a tough guy. His stage presence is one of his strong points. You know what I'm saying? My opinion, as far as first and second, it could have went either way. You know what I mean? But once again, I told Leo, I said, bro, that's third on the world stage, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't get mad and you can't get upset because you did not lose to no slouches. You know what I'm saying? Every class is tough, and especially you guys' division is the toughest division all the time. It don't make, you know, it's not like there has been a show especially this year where men's beach body, men's physique is a weak class. It's never a weak class. Like, I actually be excited to see it now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that like I never was excited. I'm just saying that it's always a battle. It's always a battle. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is, you know. It was a great experience, and, you know, business wise, of course, that was great. And like I said, I'm not mad. Them guys are better than me, and it is what it is.
So let me ask you this, because I know what it's like. So I want to hear somebody else talk about what's it like to compete and coach several athletes at a show.
Tiring. That's why I hired a coach, and I thought that was gonna look. And I know Chris gonna see this, but he wasn't backstage helping me. So at the end of the day,
Yes, man.
at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I still feel like I'm like, okay, what I get you the backstage pass for, bro? I'm like, come on, Chris. I'm like, whatever. So I still was backstage, you know what I mean, coaching and competing. It's tough, especially because the way they ran the show. There was supposed to be a straight through format. We supposed to go on, get awards, but that ain't what happened. They ran the entire show and then got a 30-minute break, then ran us back, and then we had to peak for the night. So I've peaked guys, but I haven't peaked girls for the night show. You know what I'm saying? Right. That was the difference. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna have to take the same approach with the women and just be conservative on the carb load until a certain timing, and that's when meal timing is important. You know what I'm saying? So because it takes roughly 6 hours. This is a gym here. I'm gonna just give it away. Yep. It takes roughly 6 hours for the carbohydrates to be converted into glucose, is for it to be stored into glycogen into the muscle. So I had to give everybody a high carb meal around 11 o'clock. So once the show start, they could be, you know, carved up and be able to catch a sufficient pump and stuff like that. And it happened to work. So that was it's tiring. It's always tiring trying to compete and coach, because your cortisol levels is going to go up, the stress levels going to go up, depending on the athlete. It's just gonna, you know, thank God I had some athletes that understood and, you know how to follow directions. Because last year legacy, I had 2 knuckleheads, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this will never happen again. Never happen again. And I hope they see this, because they both know what I'm talking about.
So taking it back 10 years or whatever, so it was like 10 years ago you just came out of prison. How long between you coming out of prison and you finding the stage?
My first show was 2016, but I had committed to competing. Okay, so my first show was April of 2016, but I had committed to that show January of 2015.
Gotcha.
And the reason being is because, like, you know, you see it a lot these days. Folks, they see themselves making a transformation in the mirror, and they be like, okay, I want to get on stage. Yeah. Me, I wasn't that guy. I wanted to get on stage, but I'm like, I'm going to give myself time to actually bodybuild first so that I could make some noise. Even though I got 4th place in my first show, at the end of the day, everybody can start hitting me up like, bro, where you come from? Bro, this, bro, that. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I mean, I'll be back. Don't even trip. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I would say from 2011 to 2006 to 6 years before I found the stage. Yeah.
Now, when did you start coaching?
I actually was coaching before I even competed. I've always been a big nutrition guy, and I was a personal trainer already. So actually my first show, I don't know if you know my brother Martin, Rep Christ Fitness. Yeah, so what's so funny about this, my first show, you know, that was his second show, but I coached him, and he ended up beating me.
That's what you call hedging your bets.
So that's why you don't see me with too many bodybuilders now. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm just saying. I take every other class, but I have very seldom will take a bodybuilder on because I'm not cutting my own throat no more.
So that actually leads to a good question. So what do you notice is the difference between coaching all the classes? Because I know for me, the one thing that I haven't technically coached for because Courtney kind of is a tweener. I haven't coached, a straight bodybuilder personally, Okay. So what differences kind of do you see in the approach, and everything like that?
Well, that's a good question. The difference, because at the end of the day, it's still everybody's still different though. So my approach to a bodybuilder, depending on who that bodybuilder is, it's like there's still many factors that go into the approach. Like somebody like you, right? You're very active and you're naturally active. That's just what you do. And then there's somebody that may be in your class that's sedentary, like Leo. I have to make him be active and stuff like that. So it's like, it's still, at the end of the day, it's still like, okay, I approach it as the individual and then I go from there. So it's still like, it just depends. It all depends on who the person is, their dieting history, if they have any, physical ailments, some, other type of ailments, all that type of stuff. It all plays a part.
Now, why bodybuilding?
For me?
So, yeah. So if you stick, like, have you ever thought about coming down to classic? Or whenever the men's physique division came out, you was like, why not? I'll throw in some shorts. But why bodybuilding?
I don't have the physique for men's physique actually. Mm-hmm. So, and then classic physique wasn't out in 2016 in the natural leagues. I've only competed in I never done an NPC show. So, I've done classic. Matter of fact, the Storm, it was classic and I won. So I say it like this: on the non-tested side, I'm gonna compete in the classic, but on the tested stage, more than likely I'll be in bodybuilding. Gotcha. Yeah, but I never had the physique to. I was chest dominant and arm dominant. I had no back, so I had to grow. I had to grow my back, and that's the bread and butter in Beachbody and men's physique. So I can't. I wasn't even about to even try it. You know what I'm saying?
And see, I'm glad you brought that up because people, there's kind of like, I guess you say like there's two schools of thought. Sometimes it's like, okay, men's physique is the easiest, so you start somebody there and raise them up. But yes, because and then you have the other school of thought is actually learning somebody's body type, so you kind of know, okay, let's put you here. So I guess the question is, what are you looking for to assess when somebody comes to you? Jim Bro comes to you, you can tell he has decent work ethic, and he says, James, I want to get on stage, but I don't know what to do. Kind of like what's your process there without giving up too much of the sauce?
Well, I'm a fan of the sport. I love every division. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the reason why I became a judge, is because I want to know every aspect when it comes to the sport. That's just going to make me a better coach on top of that. So, everybody, something that we can't really change is symmetry. How your physique flow is how God made your physique. That's just how it's going to be. Yes, you can get better body parts and stuff like that, but you can't really change the flow of your physique unless you get surgery. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing, like, okay, I'll say it like this, like Lamar. Mm-hmm. There's no way he's going to go to classic. He's not. He does not have the physique for classic. You know what I'm saying? He's dominant and he fits men's physique. There's just certain people that fit certain divisions. Then of course you got those tweeners where they can hop on this side and hop on this side and hop in this division and do that division and get away with it. There's some like myself. I'm not ever going to be a men's physique guy because I don't have a men's physique build. Never had it. I've always had bodybuilder. I could jump into classic because I know how to pose a little bit. But, I've seen Kyrie. He can make that transition because he has a wide back. I mean, I seen you at the posing clinic we had in the beginning of the season.
Yep.
So yeah, that's why I remember. But yeah, he could easily jump over because he has wheels. So he could easily cross over on each side. There's just certain things and certain aspects that you could assess on a person, I mean, if you're a guy like me, I'm just, I'm a fan of the sport.
Yep.
James, whenever you let me try to think of one. I really ain't got another question.
I do.
What you got? Because I feel like I know this man already, bro. We've been talking like we were talking for what, 20 minutes, dog? Just, I like it. More guests like James.
So, now, see, this is something I'm interested to know because I know my coach very, very well. And I don't know if I can answer this one for him. There's a lot of questions I can answer for him, you know what I mean, from knowing him, just like I can answer, like, you know, we can all answer questions for each other from knowing somebody. What is the biggest challenge that you face as a coach?
Oh, don't expose nobody now, man.
Okay. I'm trying not to. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real. Whatever, y'all cut it out if you want. Pulling up on somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like people take the kindness for weakness. You know what I'm saying? You like, you know, I'm a very transparent person. You know, like I talk about my past. I talk about me being a believer in Christ and stuff like that. But people hear believer in Christ and just think punk, and I'm like, okay. You don't know nothing about the faith because you obviously ain't read the scriptures, because nobody in the scriptures was a punk that God used.
Amen.
He ain't changed, so why is he gonna stop? So best leave me alone. Pay my invoice when I send it. And don't lie to me. You get what I'm saying? That's the biggest challenge, is me just keeping that old man suppressed, honestly. Because it's like, I'm like, okay, why are you lying to me? Like, I've been doing this for years. You think I'm lying? Like, 1 week you're gonna tell me you 210, then all of a sudden you 217, you're gonna tell me some stuff you holding water. I say, oh, you holding water? Okay, I'm about to come see you. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
smack the shit out of a client.
Like, come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like I get it now. You know, I'm not in the streets no more, so I'm around. You know, our sport, it consists of a lot of ex-athletes from other sports, and that, you know, college greats, and you know what I mean, probably prom and Mr. and Mrs. Queen proms and stuff. I don't have that background, so it's like, it's kind of frustrating sometimes. Like, so you trying to play me? You a square? Stop trying to play me. You know what I'm saying? But that's probably like the biggest challenge, without putting somebody on blast. You know what I'm saying? So
what about as an athlete?
Oh, biggest challenge?
Yeah.
Ooh, wanting to beat somebody so bad that's where my whole prep is dedicated to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to beat these dudes so bad. You know what I mean? And I grinded and I grinded. And granted, I loved the way I looked. This was the best I ever looked ever. I wouldn't change it for the world. But when I seen them, I was like, dang, I missed the mark again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen them. I was like, man, you know what I mean? Like, but that's just how great they are. So, you know, that's the biggest challenge. And, you know, trying to build my back, because my back has been a weak point for the longest. Everything else grows but my back, but this is the best my back has ever looked, though, honestly. So I would say that's the biggest challenge as an athlete, is wanting to beat somebody so bad that I dedicate the prep to that person. And then probably just, you know, improving on my back. Yeah.
So now we'll change it up. So what is, I guess I'll say it like this way, what's the most rewarding part for you about being a coach?
Is that I actually get to serve my clients at tip top level, and they actually give me feedback saying that I'm serving them well. Like, that's like the most rewarding thing ever. Like, it's one thing for me to get on stage, but to actually serve, because I think that's what a lot of coaches forget. We are actually serving our athletes. Yes, they get on our nerves, so on and so forth, but this is the greatest form of service, in my opinion, because it's not only that they're paying us for a service, it's also, you can't help but become attached to them unless you're just in this for the money. You know, I never entered this for the money. I entered this to restore integrity in the sport. So it's a thing of like the most rewarding thing, like to see a Kugo cry, like tears of joy after all 3 years that we done been through of just missing the mark, second, third, robbery. Like she done been robbed in shows. Like it's clear as day, the whole crowd, like, you know what I mean? Like, so just to see that type of stuff, you know, even with Sonny giving me praises and stuff like that, Leo and everything, you too, bro. Like you know what I mean? I always want to serve each and every athlete that trusts me with their, you know, fitness goals to the best of my ability.
And I can attest to that, just because, like, James had posted a video of, when Kugo won, and she actually reposted it. She said, if your coach don't react like that, you need to get a new coach. And that's a fact. And it goes back to what I said in the beginning about, wanting, you need a coach that cares. That's like that's the big, the big thing for me. So, seeing that, and then hearing what she said about it, now we're having this conversation, it all comes together.
Yeah.
When people, it's just funny because people will take, so part of why James and I work so well together, because we're very similar people. It's very, very similar. Because the thing is, people don't realize we like to laugh.
Man, facts.
Like we do. Like, it's very rare that we have to have a serious conversation. You know what I mean? Because we both love the sport. So when he's giving me my plan and we're talking about what I need to do, I don't consider it serious. I consider it, we just doing what we're supposed to be doing. But we get bad raps for being mean and all these different things, because what people don't get, and I'm not trying to say it's an act, because it's definitely not, but we got to be like that because we have big hearts and we care.
Thanks.
So I always say the guy with the cold heart that I got right here is protecting this, because there's a lot of people that take advantage of this, and that's what makes you turn into the other guy. So, and then to go back, James talked about that challenge, again, something I can relate to, because a lot of people are used to, in this industry, just kind of saying any old thing and doing any kind of thing and it being accepted. We don't accept that. And so then, it creates this. But at the end of the day, I want to, kind of say, this is one of the most caring people that I know. Because I remember when he reached out to me, while we were friends, I didn't understand we were on that level, but I'm glad we were. Because when he hit me, that was just, honestly, that was something I would have done for Kyrie. And you guys know how close me and Kyrie are. So this is kind of like just me, while we're here, I'm always talking about giving the flowers. This is like that give the flowers moment, like for real, because like that meant a lot to me, because there's a lot of crooked and phony people in this sport, and when somebody just reach out to you, and it wasn't like, oh, here, let me give you this, but give me this money. It was never about finances. It was never about anything like that. It was just I see what you're doing. I see how I could help you. And he just hit me. He was like, hey, man. And it was, like I said, because I'm not afraid to say, it was about, because I was holding a little bit too much water on stage. And I told him what I did, and we knew why. We figured it out. It made sense. And I've since applied 98% of what I learned. I've put a little bit of tweaks for things that I know, but at the end of the day, tweaks are tweaks. You got to make tweaks just for the people. Right. But it's like, and I always give credit. I always say my coach showed me this, Sarita, Susie, DJ, Darius, all the team, certain things that I learned. And I always say, James taught me this. James showed me this. You see what I'm saying? It does not hurt to say that. It does not make you less of a coach. When James put me on to something, he told me that his coach showed him that. Mm-hmm. Doesn't make him any less of a coach.
That's real.
You see what I'm saying? And there's some people that don't understand that. They're so worried about being the expert or being the person. It's like, hold on, you just need to be the best coach for your person, i.e. give them the information so they can process and get the best out of them, So, but yeah, I wanted to make sure I gave the flowers, get a good flower. I love both of y'all, man, but I love that dude right there, man. He's stuck.
Love you too, homie. Love you too, homie. At the end of the day, it's like this though, bro. Like with I'm gonna say males. what males got to understand is, man, first and foremost, that ego is gonna always hold you back. You know what I mean? It does not make you less of a man to admit that you learned from another man. Like you learn, even if it's a woman. Like little do people know, right? If Chris didn't have room for me, I was gonna hire Helen Horton because she's a beast at what she does. She mentors me. Like I'm open enough to say that I learned from other coaches. Chris, look, I've learned so much. I've got so much notes that now that I got some carbs, I could think a little bit. I'm gonna run them. You know, I'm gonna go through them. You know what I'm saying? Once you become an expert, man, you're irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? You gotta remain a student. Yeah. Because everything, the game is steadily evolving. People are steadily evolving. There are studies, resources, and stuff like that that are continuously evolving. So once you become an expert, you're irrelevant. You become irrelevant and you're in the way. So I'm gonna remain a student regardless, and I will never let my pride stop me from giving credit where credit is due. It is what it is. Like, you know, I see it all the time. Like, there's a guy, I'm not gonna say his name. There was this guy, he was so into himself that he's at the show, he's not even competing. He's just talking about himself. And I'm like, dude, like, bro, like, he was like, yeah, I didn't see nobody doing this or that before I started doing it. Yeah. He went pro in 2019. half of us wasn't competing. Half of us took the year off because we just had a grueling 17 and 18. And I'm thinking in my head, like, bro, when you went pro, nobody was competing for number one. And number two, bro, come on, get off your own joint. Like, come on, man. Like, dude, like, how is you talking to another man about you and you? Look, man, look. That pride and that ego gonna stop every male from advancing, man. It is what it is.
For sure, man.
Doesn't take away from you to give somebody else props.
Okay, the only way you're gonna get better, because at the end of the day, none of our brains are built to know everything.
It's not.
We got a lot of room up here to process information. Get as much as you can. Get as much as you can. So before we wrap, what is bodybuilding like done for you? Like, what would you say? Because I'll frame it up like this, because I know it's giving me a lot. It's one thing that I say a lot. I'm like, hey, bodybuilding's giving me a lot, so I gotta give back. Now, obviously, it's not a detailed statement, but like, share what bodybuilding kind of like has done for you in your life.
Man, I'm gonna try to keep it short. I'm gonna try. I'm long-winded. You feel me? So I mean, I'm sure I serve in my church, right? I serve as the elder in my church. So bodybuilding is the closest thing to living out the gospel, in my opinion. Why? Because you got to have proper diet. So in the church, you got to have proper doctrine. You have to be doctrinally sound. So you have to have a proper diet. You can't outwork an improper diet, right? So you cannot minister to someone with improper doctrine. So you have to go and lift weights. With the doctrine, what people fail to realize, you got to do the work. So it's all parallels for me. So it's like, as I grow in bodybuilding, I can't help but attach the parallel and grow in the scriptures, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it's a way of life for me. I don't just put on Christianity and just say, oh, I'm a Christian, and then I'm all up in somebody else's wife's house and all that old stuff, or doing my thing, and I don't try to act as if I'm holier than the next person. Same thing in bodybuilding. As humble as I try to be, it's hard. Come on now, we men. It's hard to stay humble, what I mean? Especially when we doing our thing, it's hard. But we, I try to keep a balance. Be confident, but confident, not cocky. You know what I'm saying? I'm being straightforward, but not impulsive, if that makes sense. If you perceive me as impulsive, that's something going on with your own character. You know what I mean? I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to always tell a person what they need to do and to get better. If you're not man or woman enough to take that, it's not my problem, because at the end of the day, my goal is to be blameless. So bodybuilding has helped me a lot in just my overall development as, you know, as a man of God, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that piece up and use it as a sound bite, bro, because that was some real stuff right there. Like, honestly, right? But what's your end goal in bodybuilding?
My end goal, okay, of course, I do want to become world champion.
Of course.
Like, you know what I mean? I wanted it bad this time, and I know what I got to do to get it next. Well, to put myself in a position to be there. So that's, you know, far-fetched. But a for sure goal that I know that I'm going to accomplish is putting quality athletes on stage. Not looking at quantity. I'm always going to have quality. It's always going to be quality. So that's a for sure goal that I know I could do. Now, as far as becoming world champion, it depends on who show up. You know what I'm saying? Course, it is what it is there. You know what I'm saying? But as far as my craft, I know for sure I'm going to stay sharpening and keep a sharp tool in the box and put him on stage. Put him on stage for sure.
Roger that, brother. I appreciate your time, man.
Yes. Coach is coaching the building.
Honestly, the wisdom in this episode, bro, you know, I really do appreciate that. You know, coming from a young buck like myself, like I'm about to turn 25 in a few weeks, man, you know, being around you guys, you know, iron sharpens iron. And hopefully someone got something and they can put in the comments, yo, what you guys learned? Follow my man James. His IG's under his window. Isaac, got any closing remarks?
Just want to thank my coach again. He hit me this morning because I tried to get him on last week, but he's like,
that was a negative. Hey, that was not happening. Hey, every few seconds I've been getting up going to pee. You already know.
So glad he hit me this morning. You know, not hit K. So I mean, this episode, I mean, you know, fantastic. Thank you. Really, thank you for this, but thank you for everything.
Like, yeah, 100. I appreciate you guys for having me on. Real talk. Yeah.
But yeah, until next time, guys.
Comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what you guys learned. That's the most important thing. And what you guys are going to apply. Because knowledge is power, but if you don't use it, it's useless. So we'll catch you guys next Tuesday. Y'all take it easy.
Yeah.